working out.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hope you all enjoyed that whole lot of shaking going on. I played a little Richard coming in here, and in the background, I was having a good conversation with our next guest for the evening, Mr. David Frank. Mr. David Frank has a website out there, onevoicenow.org. He's got some interesting arguments to put on the table that are certainly worthy of consideration. And if you find his discussion to be illuminating and would like to find a little bit more about it, check out onevoicenow.org. And right now, David Frank, you should be there. You got your adult beverage and your snacks ready, so we're all set to go.
Hey, we're ready to hit it, Gary. Hey, thanks so much for what you do, Gary. This is sure great of you to help get ideas out to the public. You know, you can't do it on mainstream media. We got to be here on social media so we can really tell the truth about some things.
Well, you know, it is intriguing that so many of the arguments that are being put forward today, and just between you and me, David, you know, some of the folks that, you know, put their arguments on the table, you know, I scratch my head and I say, okay, well, that's interesting, but, you know, I'm not really sure I buy into that. I can't say I agree with everybody who does broadcast on the United We Strike marathon, but, you know, that's not the point. It's a marketplace of ideas, and the purpose is to get as many ideas on the table as we can, and let the audience make up their own damn mind what makes sense to them.
Absolutely, and that's what we've got. We've got a plan to get as many of those damn ideas on the table as possible, because we now know that the political ideas, the political laws that are being forced down our throats have been all bought and paid for. We now know that, you know, America is being run by the corporations that are using the lobbyists to bribe the politicians to sell us down the proverbial toilet so the corporations can run our lives. And, you know, we know these things. Now, not everybody. There's still some people out there that think we're in Disney World, but those are probably the haves, you know, the people that have the money, and all their big problem is where they're going to go on vacation next. And in the meantime, Rome is burning, and they're still wanting to fiddle around. And we can't fiddle around anymore. I was reading this story today about thousands of children in Pennsylvania who were jailed by two corrupt judges, and they received $2.6 million in kickbacks from builders and owners of private prison facilities. I mean, if our judicial system isn't as corrupt as ever, I don't know what to say. I mean, the prosecutors knew what was going on. The lawyers knew what was going on. Everybody even the police had to know what was going on, because, you know, you have police in all these courtrooms. They've got to be seeing what these judges were doing. They were sending thousands of kids into prison, and this story that's coming out.
What I want to know, David, have any of these judges been arrested? Will they face justice?
No, they've been convicted.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, let's say Judge Mark Ciarvella, who is now in jail himself, serving 28-year sentence. I don't think that's enough. I'm not for the death penalty, but I don't think that's enough. I mean, what he did to these kids. In fact, there was one lady, a mother of one of the kids that was interviewed, and her son, when he got out of prison, he was so distraught after what he'd gone through, he took a gun and shot himself in the heart and killed himself. I mean, these guys, you know, it's not just the judicial system; it's the penal system, it's the justice system, it's all of these things. It's our Congress, our Supreme Court, our executive branch. They are all bought and paid for. And the only reason that you ever take money to render an answer to an issue when you judge issues is to render the wrong answer. So I don't care if you're talking about the president, the Congress, Supreme Court, or the judges on the bench, or the lawyers. I'm saying that our judicial system, the most important system within our society, the system that allows us to be civilized, where we resolve our issues not through taking matters into our own hands like they did in the Wild West, but through a system, a fair system of finding the truth. It's been bought and paid for. These guys are all Judases, as far as I'm concerned, and that's why we need to take our country back. I've been a goofball for 25 years. I used to do a radio program 25 years ago called Stand Up America, and I told people, I said, the politicians don't have the answers for you. You, the people, have the answers. You, the people, know what kind of world that you want to live in. And the politicians hated me, and the lawyers hated me, and the people that the haves hated me because the system was working just fine for them. And here's Dave Frank saying, well, we have all this wonderful technology now, let's use it. Let's use it to, instead of using our televisions to program us to be oversexed and overviolent, why don't we use our televisions as a local issues television and radio channel and allow you, the people, to start raising ideas that you think can make our community better? You, the people, to debate those ideas, and you, the people, to vote on them and implement those in your own community. And when you find things that work in your community, you share that information with other communities, and when they find things that work, they'll share it with you. And let's start rebuilding America from the ground up. So, everybody at the top of the pyramid hated what I was saying. But now that everything's falling apart, people are losing their homes, are losing their jobs, are losing their lives because the politics has destroyed the whole healthcare system now. And people are literally dying because of the idiot decisions that have been made. And now all I'm saying is, look, people know that we have a problem. We need to find the solutions. We need a plan. The politicians are not going to come up with this plan. We, the people, have to come up with the plan. And I think we've got a pretty good plan. You got a TV? Yeah. You got a touch-tone phone? Yeah. Well, why don't you just watch issues over the TV that you're interested in and vote by phone, just like we do on American Idol, Dancing with the Stars, CNN, Fox, whatever. And let's start fixing our own piece of America in our own communities. And if everybody fixes their own community, the next thing you know, America will be fixed.
Well, the sad part about it is I look at it and I remember the old adage that those in power will do their best to use that power in order to remain in power. I have this sneaking suspicion that if something like what you're suggesting were to be put forward by we, the people, we'd get slapped down in a heartbeat, and those who are currently financing our local governments, state government, federal government, whatever, would call us terrorists, and David Frank and Gary Hendershot would have adjoining cages in Guantanamo. Now, do you really think there might be a peaceful way to pull something like this off, or is the only way we're going to get their attention to march on them, armed and drooling?
No, armed is not the answer. You're not going to beat them armed. They're organized and armed, and you are not. And the way to do it is to come up with a better plan. Everybody's bitching about all these problems, all these different issues, environmental, educational, taxation, whatever it is. Everybody's griping about these issues, but that's why we've got to come up with a plan, and we have to realize that the people in power are not going to come up with a plan to take their power away from them. We, the people, have to come up with that plan, and that's what we've done. All we've done is put the components together. Everybody's got access to a TV. Everybody's got access to a touch-tone phone. All you need is a community computer to be your database to hold your voters, your citizens, so that when they vote on an issue, you're identified with an ID number and a PIN number. It'll count your vote, block you out from voting more than once, and we can now have decisions made by you. But yes, it's got to be done locally. You don't take something like this that big down from the top. You do it from the bottom. I don't know if you played any football, but I used to play football, and I'm not that big, but I could take very big people down, not by hitting them high. You hit them low. You hit them around their feet, and that's what your communities are. I mean, Colorado just basically did it when you think about it. They had a referendum in Colorado about marijuana. And the local government had enough kahunas to say, We understand that the federal government thinks that marijuana should be illegal, but the people think that it should be legal, and we're going to do what the people want. So they've set a good precedent on one thing, but we've got to do this on many, many things, and you've got to do it locally. The best way to eat an elephant is, piece by piece, and that's the way that you fix America, community by community. What we want to do is use our local public broadcasting station as our local issues channel. It's the only non-commercial station across America, and it's all across America. And it's owned by we the people. It's not owned by anybody. We're the ones that support it. So all we really have to do is change the format for our public broadcasting stations as our local issues channel. It's the channel that you will use in your community to find solutions to the problems that the politicians couldn't find, plus they're the ones that created these problems for the most part. So that's what you do, and it's sort of like a website on your television. It's your local issues interactive website. You watch issues over the TV, and you'll vote by phone. It's really that simple. Can't make it any more simple. If you're blind, you can participate. If you're deaf, you can participate. Whatever. If you're a quadriplegic, you can participate now. The technology's here, but we, the people, have to put it together, and it's on our website, and there's a video on the website that explains the plan, and our website is onevoicenow.org, onevoicenow.org.
Did I say onevoicenow.com earlier?
No, I think
did I get the org on the end of it?
And my short-term memory is very bad.
Oh,
who am I talking to right now?
Yeah, well, who are we? Where are we? Right. One of the things that's a little scary and that might preempt your plan is this TPP thing that basically what that is, it's the corporate takeover of local jurisdictions. I mean, have you done any reading up on that at all? Because my understanding is it basically sets certain standards that says this big multinational corporation can frack in your backyard whether your local government decides they can do it or not. And
right.
Under treaty, it's kind of a done deal. And it appears that this thing's on a fast track and that it's going to get passed whether we like it or not. So we may want, even if we were organized enough and determined enough to get our local jurisdiction back under control of we the people, we may wind up in a confrontation with Uncle Fed, because we say, hey, no, you can't be fracking in my backyard, and if you do, I'm going to send the sheriff out and have you arrested. And they say, well, basically under this treaty, your local government has nothing to say about it. We're going to do it whether you like it or not. Well,
that's what's wrong with America. The corporations now write their own rules. That's why, when General Electric makes $2 billion, they don't pay any taxes. Who do you think wrote those tax rules?
And, they seem to have passed a law to where, did you remember that one, corporations are people too?
Right.
You remember that? Now,
and they aren't. They are not.
I kind of, if they are people, they are most certainly sociopathic. and frankly, if they're going to be considered people, I think there should be a death penalty associated with their criminal actions. And when you get somebody like a Halliburton that's polluting people's groundwater with their fracking, or you get somebody like General Electric that designs and builds nuclear reactors that melt down at drop of a hat, there should be a penalty paid. And you may not believe in the death penalty, but particularly with sociopathic corporations, I would like to see a death penalty available so we could put those sons of bitches on trial and take care of them, get them out of my misery.
Absolutely, and that's sort of what the Wizard of Oz was all about. When they pulled back the curtain, there was really somebody there. So all that corporation is a legal curtain that greedy little pricks hide behind and figure out ways to screw the people, whether it be the American people or people around the world. They're doing everybody. But we can't allow that to happen anymore. And that's who's making our decisions right now in America and around the world. These people that hide behind these corporations. And that's why it's time that we the people really decide what direction we want America to go and decide what is right in America and what is wrong. I mean, how many times have you ever heard, well, it's not right, but it's legal, or it's not wrong, but it's illegal? Now, wait a minute.
It may not be legal, but
lawmakers.
it may be legal, but it's not lawful. How about that one?
Well, that's true. That's true. But think about it. If this is the kind of advice that we're getting from our representatives to come up with, it may not be right, but it's legal. Who wants to live in a world where lawmakers are like that? These people are idiots. They're the Keystone Cops. They were paid to make stupid decisions, just like the Keystone Cops, and they're destroying our country, and we've got to take it back. And we now have, we could 25 years ago, we really couldn't have even talked about this, but right now we do have the technology that can be put in place overnight in every community, where all of a sudden, instead of Washington telling us how we're going to live our lives, or state capitals, the people in your community can decide what kind of community they want to build for themselves.
Well, I like the idea. I have my reservations. I'm always, I'm kind of one of these, throwback Neanderthal free market types. And I'm always a little bit concerned that a true democracy will not respect individual liberties, and if
let's not call it a democracy. Let's just call it we the people. How about that? Well, we were supposed to be a country that was supposed to be of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Well, I think that no matter what no matter what kind of entity is in charge, I think there needs to be a basic statement of human rights, a social contract. In the United States,
how do the Ten Commandments sound?
The Ten Commandments sound real good. And that was kind of a basic social contract.
I'm not going to sleep with your wife. You don't sleep with my wife. How's that?
These things sound reasonable, and as long as decisions are made governed by certain basic human rights that the majority will not tread upon, as long as the rights of the minority or the rights of the individual are respected, those things that are of interest and of benefit to the whole should certainly be on the table for consideration by whatever form of government we choose to abide by.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you can call it anything you want. I sort of look at it as a 21st century republic, because before the issue goes to the people over the television, it goes to a 10-member rotating group of people that are only there for 1 week at a time. Just 1 week, you're like a grand jury. You're on, you're out, goodbye, thank you very much. And you keep rotating those people, and they're the ones that hear the ideas initially coming from the public. And then if the majority of those people think it's a good idea, then it goes directly to the community over our local issues TV station program, and you let the people decide. Right now, if you look at our present system, you got 435 people in Washington that raise the issue, 100 people that are their buddies that check the issue, and one guy, the executive, that signs on the issue. So you got 436 people making decisions for 300 million people. It's a brain dead system. And it's corrupt, so it's totally brain dead.
Yeah, and the idea of, David Frank or Gary Hendershot being able to come forward and say, hey, wait a minute, guys, I got a better idea. Couldn't maybe we consider, no. Frankly, unless you're a big corporate interest that throws a lot of money around Washington, D.C., and has a big lobbying group that puts the legislation together and basically hands it to the bought-off Congress critter that's going to put it up for a vote. Your idea doesn't get considered. It seems that the only ideas that do get considered are those put forward by corporate interests.
Right. Government, federal, state, and local is where great ideas go to die. If you got a great idea that's going to help the people, forget it.
Now, have you ever been able to have a one-on-one personal conversation with your representative to D.C.?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And
now, did he just pay lip service to you, or did he actually listen to what you had to say?
I wish we had more time, Gary, because I'd love to tell you this story. But we do have a little bit of time. Our representative here is a guy by the name of Joe Donnelly. He was a lawyer here. Of course, they're all lawyers. But he was a lawyer here that nobody really cared what he thought until he had run for office. And it was at the time that we wanted to throw the Republicans out, and he was the Democrat waiting in the wing. And he got in. He was the lesser of two evils. He snuck in. And like I said, before he won this election, nobody cared what this guy thought. Now, all of a sudden, he sits in one of the 535 magic seats. And, he's one of the most powerful people in the world. Anyway, very quickly, I know our time's running out. This was on St. Patrick's Day about 6 years ago. Myself, I won the Dr. Martin Luther King Award here. Another guy, George Lane, started National Flag Celebration, councilman in southern Indiana for 18 years. The head of the president of our township here, the three of us had a meeting with our Congressman Joe Donnelly at his office. It was a Saturday. It was St. Patrick's Day. We went in and we told him that we thought that we had a good idea as to how to help our economy. And we explained that we're two people away from fixing this economy. We explained that you're a Democrat and Obama's a Democrat. We said that Obama is absolutely right about when he said real estate cancer. And we explained that when you have cancer, you have three questions. Where did it start? What's causing it to grow? How do you get rid of it? And we explained that Obama can throw as much money as he wants at this economy, but he cannot fix it. Because if you look at real estate under a microscope, you'll see it's made up of three parts: interest, principal, and property taxes. Property taxes are totally unconstitutional because the only people that were supposed to have a voice, according to the Constitution, were property owners. When they implanted property taxes on us, they stole our property, and they took our right to really have a voice away from us. Nobody owns property anymore. We lease it from the state. And we explained that over the years, what has happened, the thing that caused this cancer to grow, is when the federal government quit giving money to the state government and the state government quit giving money to the local, the state and the local got together and they said, hey, we've got these property taxes. And what they did was they started raising these property taxes. But the idiots weren't smart enough to realize that every time they raise the property taxes, it pushes the value of your property down. And they kept raising these properties, and it's like these taxes, and it's like pushing on a blister. And they raised them so high that finally the blister popped and it went everywhere. It got into the auto industry and the finance industry, the whole bit. And we explained to them that if they did what we're saying, we could really get this economy going. And we said that when cancer becomes systemic, like property taxes have, you have to basically castrate the patient, and that means that what you have to do is totally delete property taxes. And we explained to them that if you delete property taxes, what will happen is the value of property will stop devaluing immediately, and what will happen is people that still have money will go out and buy these properties now that they no longer have this cancer of property taxes attached to it. And what they'll do is they'll use they'll buy these properties to live in or to rent or to resell. And I said, what will happen then is people will go out and they'll do these things and they'll hire the backbone of America. They'll hire plumbers and electricians and bricklayers and blah blah blah. And we said we'll put millions of people to work immediately, and you get rid of these property taxes. Instead of sending your sales taxes to state capitals, you keep your sales taxes right in your own community to make up for the property taxes. And we explained all of this to them so that a fourth grader could understand this. You understand it, don't you, Gary?
Well, yeah, but I graduated to sixth grade,
All right.
so I'm a brain trust here.
We
got about 30 seconds, David. I need you to get that website out there one more time.
Okay. Hey, our website is One Voice Now, ONE voicenow.org. Check it out. Check out the video. Short video explains the plan.
All righty. And David Frank, as always, thank you very much for your participation in the United We Strike Radio Marathon. I'm going to go ahead and take us out with a little BB